Luke 5:24 says this. Jesus was talking to the Pharisees and he says, "But I want you to know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." Now, what does this mean? This means that Jesus was claiming to be God. In Luke 5:24, when he says Son of Man, he's referring to Daniel 7:14, and this is what it says. Daniel 13-14 says this. It says, "In my vision at night I looked," and this is Daniel speaking. He says, "In my vision at night I looked, and there before me was one like a son of man, coming in the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient of Days and was led into his presence. He was given authority, glory, and sovereign power. All nations and people of every language worshipped him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion that will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that will never be destroyed." And so we see this Son of Man that Jesus is referring to in Daniel 7:13-14 is basically sharing the same authority as the Ancient of Days. Now, the phrase Son of Man is an idiom, and it can mean someone or I. They would say, like, the Son of Man is walking to the store, like talking about himself. But here he's talking specifically about Daniel. And it is so amazing, and it is so much revelation, because we see that Jesus, he truly deserves all the praise. And whether you like it or not, every knee will bow and everybody will worship the name of Jesus, whether they like it or not. When you stand in his presence, in the presence of God, God the Son, God the Father, it doesn't matter. They're all one. When you stand in their presence, you can't help but to worship, but to acknowledge and see how filthy you are and how bright and pure and holy they are. So everyone will say that Jesus is Lord. Yeshua is Lord. Psalms 104:3, we see that only God rides in the clouds. And here we can see, reading, it says, He lays the beams of his upper chambers on their waters, and he makes the clouds his chariot. In Exodus 14, he talks about Exodus 14:20, the Israelites were being led by God and through a cloud. God was leading them in the clouds by fire at night. And so we see that by evoking this image, Jesus tapped into the supernatural impression of this figure, for only God rides the clouds. That's like it says that Jesus, the Son of Man, is coming with the clouds of heaven. But remember, only God can come in the clouds. So we see that Jesus is God. So when Jesus confronted the Pharisees and said, "Hey, the Son of Man has authority on earth. I'm going to show you to forgive sins," he was doing that, understanding that the Son of Man had equal power and authority to forgive sins, which was only limited to God. That's why they wanted to say, "Oh, you're blaspheming," because they knew that he was claiming to be God, which he was. He is. Jesus is Lord, guys. Believe it or not, he is King of Kings.